question here. It's a long one from Pam. Says, I'm leading a system-wide 6-hospital improvement project on medication reconciliation. We use the inch-wide, mile-deep approach by holding a series of Kaizen events to design standard work for all entry points of the hospital and running experiments at just one site. So it's like a pilot or a model line. It's going well, but what advice would you have in terms of sharing that new process across the rest of the health system? There's a lot of anxiety at the non-pilot hospitals about the rollout being a steamroller approach, trying to communicate with key stakeholders that there's some things that are non-negotiable, that sites will be able and expected to improve on the workflow model from the pilot. Do you have tried and true steps for engaging across multiple sites? I think Pam is already describing the right approach. People don't want the rollout to be a rollover, and I think ThedaCare and others have taken an approach. Ron Smith from Mary Greeley talked about this in one of our webinars, where you're rolling out an approach, but it doesn't mean you copy it exactly. You take here's what we learned. Now let's see what you can do with that. Adopt that, tweak it, build on that process, and continue improving instead of just copying and pasting. I think Pam, her other good point is there are certain things that are negotiable and some things that are non-negotiable. Standardized, to me, doesn't mean completely identical. So I think Pam's already on a pretty good path. What do you think, Greg?
And I think that as you're thinking through how do you go from pockets of excellence to a tipping point, you are going to have to, at the beginning, it's going to be a pull. People are going to be more, organizations will be more successful if you spread to the areas that show that interest, right? Because you're not having to overcome getting the person on the same page and then changing their department, workplace, factory. After you have pulled, hopefully, the kind of the momentum of that wave will keep allowing pull to occur to all the far-reaching corners. But I think you're going to have a probably easier time at the beginning as the people that already had that mindset, that kind of lean thinking, if you will, are going to, they're just going to soak it up because I already was thinking this way. I just didn't know that there was a whole body of knowledge I could use and start applying this to my work. Right. And then as time goes on, kind of ideal state would be you would just get pulled into everything. If you're not pulled into everything, then you're going to have to, I think, go into more aggressive kind of change management into the areas that are the cold pockets, if you want to call those the cold pockets. We have definitely seen the model cell replicated work really, really well, and we've also seen when you're thinking about how do you go to 10,000 people, really kind of getting that entire leadership line. I mean, Lee Health right now is doing a huge leadership push, and now they're about to start going into individual, and they're a really great example of how do you get 11,000 people kind of all rowing in the same way. It's definitely not an easy thing, but it is. There's no reason it's an impossible thing to do. It just takes vision and discipline and execution, and
that's it.
And a little. That's it. A little, and a lot of PDSA cycles. Yeah.
A lot of hard work. Nothing more than hard work.
And a little luck. A
little hard work. There was this silly movie that I watched on a flight recently called Central Intelligence, and this is a dumb comedy, but The Rock, the actor, the wrestler, The Rock, plays this character who, I mean, he's a huge guy, and it was a huge change from high school, and he gets asked, like, how did you do that? And The Rock's character says, well, anyone can do it. It was 6 hours a day in the gym every day for the last 20 years. Right. anyone can do it. Well, I think about with practicing lean and continuous improvement. Anyone can do it, but who has the discipline and the drive? You don't need to do Kaizen 6 hours a day every day, but making it a daily habit turn you into The Rock.
Well, and I think that what people, the misperception I think people have is that the people that are successful, that are telling their story, I think they think that that's how they started. Right, and that's definitely not how they started. I mean, we are a organization, we're a company that has helping spread continuous improvement, And I'm constantly adding energy to the system for our small team to be thinking about continuous improvement and to be logging it. And none of this at the microscopic level looks clean and easy. Only when you go to the macroscopic, like, oh, the 60,000 foot view, it looks nice and neat. But once you kind of get down into the nitty gritty, it's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, a half step. It's kind of messy. And messy's okay as long as you keep going, because then when you look back and say, well, where were we 12 months ago? Where were we 36 months ago? You're like, wow, we've really made progress. But sometimes the day-to-day can get a little grueling.
Yeah, it's the analogy of a duck. It looks fairly calm when it's swimming across the top of the water, but underneath it's kicking and paddling like crazy. We don't see
That's
that.
great. I love that.